Hello. How are you, Lacy?
Hi, Herman. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for taking the time to set this up. I understand you have a few questions for me around some energy work that's been done in the past and some of the work you got going ongoing, and specifically around dark portals, what they are, where they come from, how they're created, and just kind of how that works. So I'll just hand it over to you and you can start with the questions.
That's perfect. So, yeah, I'm Lacy Falls. I'm a holistic healthcare practitioner. And yeah, I reached out. I found Herman. I found you in a time of desperate need. Um, you and I both do energy work, but yours is a little different than mine. And yeah, short story. I won't go into all of the details, but definitely some energetic disruptance in my house and or disturbance, I guess I should say. Definitely a lot of nightmares for myself, my kids, noises being heard in the house. Actually seeing dark shadows, not only from myself, but my kids. I tried all the tricks. I tried the saging, I tried the salt, this was definitely a new world for me. I thought I was a little crazy, but it turns out that lots of people experience this. So, yeah, I found you and you did some amazing work and really, really started to create shifts for myself, my family, um, my house.
Mhm.
But things were still happening. And a friend told me, you know what, you should ask him about portals. And when she said that, the thought in my mind was, what is a portal? This sounds like a sci-fi movie. And so I remember being really hesitant to even mention it to you. And you were like, oh yeah, like this is like I do this every day. So things really shifted when
Mhm.
you started doing the portal work. And as I see my clients, this subject comes up, and I refer a lot of people to you. I send a lot of my clients to you, and I don't really know how to explain the portals, and you just explain it so beautifully. So I just really wanted you to tell the world about this.
Sure. Yeah. Well, thanks for that introduction and your kind words. So, um, dark portals is what I call them, and they've been around for, I'm sure, centuries or thousands of years. But a lot of people don't know about them, or they don't know where they come from, and they come from a lot of different sources. But just as they sound, it's a portal where energy can come and go from, say, one realm to the next. And a lot of times they can be intentionally placed. So, meaning someone specifically put a portal there for energies to come and go. And sometimes it could just be a complete accident. And sometimes it could be something that's been on the land for hundreds or thousands of years. I've been spending a lot of time in New Zealand and I've done a lot of work here. And the land in New Zealand, there's that's where I started seeing it all over the place. And and then just kind of taking a step back and going, why, what's happening with this? And my take on it, and just to be upfront, I'm not much of a reader or studier. I operate from just connecting to my true self and then just kind of figuring out as I go. But as I started this journey and doing my energetic work, I started seeing reoccurring issues with some properties in New Zealand. And then that's when the portal thing kind of just was like, whoa, a light bulb went off. There's this energy. And I want you to think about how like the Europeans came into New Zealand and settled it, and the indigenous people were very, spiritual people. They're warriors. And when their land was basically taken, they kind of did something to the land to open it up for energies to flow. And how I discovered this, I was working with this lady in a rural area. She had several hundred acres, and she kept having a problem over and over. And I'm like, there's got to be something on the land. And so I asked her the history of her land, And she's like, "Oh yeah, my great uncle fought in the wars over here. He was from Ireland, and after the wars were done, he was gifted this land for his participation." And so in my mind, it was like, okay, stolen land gifted to this Irish person that came over to fight. He's probably a general or something, and then gets these hundreds of acres. Well, the people that they stole the land from or took the land, however you want to say it, um, highly spiritual people and energetically charged the land and created these dark portals. And then I started seeing all of the really nice properties, particularly elevated, coastal properties, kind of elevated, nice views. A lot of those properties where all the beautiful homes and stuff are riddled with these dark portals, and it just wreaks havoc on the people in the home. But back to this big farmland, from the uncle onward, there was a lot of mental illnesses in their family, through the generations of living in that home. And it's all from these energies. So, and I'm going off topic about the portal, but I just want to talk about the effect. So the effect would be these energies are coming and going through this portal. Well, they feed on our energy, and how they feed on our energy, it's not like, I think about it like a parasite, but they're not like a mosquito would like take your blood. Well, these energies, they feed on our anxieties, our fears. And so what they do, how they create the fear and the anxieties, is they slowly start to manipulate our thoughts and our emotions. And so all of a sudden we have this emotion of fear, and that fear then excretes this type of energy that these dark energies feed on. And that's like a drug to them, so to speak. So that's why people go through some struggles with their mental health, because their thoughts, emotions are being manipulated. And that's a broad statement, because it could be in the form of nightmares. It could be in the form of negative self-talk. It could be starting to hear voices and just kind of taking people off the rails, so to speak. So that's why they do what they do, is for that production of our fear and our anxieties. Now, um, when they're coming and going, they're not always coming to stay on that property. They come and they go out into our world and do whatever, and they come and go. But when your home is on a property that has a portal near it, the the energy's flowing in and out of your home, and a lot of it sticks around. And so when I first started doing this, and I discovered, oh, these things, these portals, so I started closing them. But so think about it like this: thousands of energies come through. I close the portal, and they're off running around wherever they're going. Then they come back to go back through the portal. The portal's not there to go through. So then they're hanging around the house again. Where am I? What am I doing? So they're kind of trapped, so to speak, until they find another way out. And so then that still causes problems for that home. So sometimes when you're dealing with closing portals, it's not just we can't just close it and it's over, because you have the energy that's come through it, and it's a matter of when it's back in your space, clearing that. And so over the years, I figured out a better way to do it. I mean, I closed the portal, and just, I think you already know this, but the way I do my work, it's all through my intent. And so what I do when I close a portal is I set my intent to clear all the energies that came through the portal. So then they're not coming back to the home. They're just wherever they are, they're being, cleared, so to speak. So that's kind of how the portal works. Another way, I'll give you an example. I lived in Idaho, Boise, Idaho, for about 11 years. That's pretty much where we raised our kids. And we bought this new house, and it was beautiful. It was on an acre and a half. And this was before I did any type of energy work. I was just a corporate person. And we kept hearing these crazy sounds and these noises. And one time I was watching TV. We're in this like TV room, and we had this massive like leather drum. And I remember we're watching TV, and all of a sudden just bang, something banged on the drum really big. And it was like, we turned around and there's nothing there. And it was really loud. So we had stuff like that going on in our house. And then at that point we'd been there for a few years, and we moved on. I went into a business, in another state, Utah. And when we're in Utah, my daughter, who was, she's high school age, she was like, "Do you remember that house in Eagle?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Well, me and one of her friends, we came home one day and we were playing with a Ouija board, and I was like, what? And I was like, that's why we're having all those issues. Like, and so then, but this is way before I was doing this work. And then years later, I'm like, thinking back, going, wait a minute. When people use Ouija boards, they're basically opening up a portal in itself because they're communicating and calling on these spirits to answer their questions. And the thing that I need to stress is you can call on whatever you want, but there is so much energy out there, and a lot of the really nasty stuff or dark stuff poses itself as something that it's not, right? So you think you're talking to an ancestor or this or that when it can just turn on a dime. And I call them tricksy. So they're tricksters, and they come in and they have this energy of something else, and then they turn on a dime. And so Ouija boards, setting up altars in your home, whether it's you're praying to them, meditating to them, worshiping, it's creating portals in my mind. Now, whether they're dark or not, who knows? But I just know the work I've been doing, the energy work I've been doing, I do close a lot of portals. And I would say, I've been doing this work, not long in the scheme of things, just over 12 years, but um, probably about 1 in 15 to 20 people I work with, I have to close a portal. And so it's not it's not that common. And I do work with quite a few people. And the other thing that I found interesting doing this work is I've actually found where people have had portals placed within their energetic field. And so they can be like almost like a walking portal themselves. And that really causes some pretty crazy, pretty crazy issues. So that's, I'm going to hand it over to you because I feel like I'm going on and on, but I hope that answers your question, and ask me some direct questions if you'd like, and I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, my brain is just, yeah, going a thousand directions. So, just starting with the most recent one. So, when people do have portals kind of in their space, how does that look different? Like how does that red flag go up for you? That, oh, this person must have one in their energy field.
Yeah, so I look there's a few indicators that I look for when I'm connecting with people and working on them. And I don't have a good recollection when I do the work because it's weird. It's like I'm working, from a soul level, and I just don't have a recollection of what I do. But there is a few indicators I look for. And I don't typically look for portals within people's energy field because it's very uncommon. So I look for portals in their space. And a portal could be on your property, in your home, on an object in your home. It could be in a painting, a mirror, whatever, or a crystal or whatever. It doesn't have to be from the land. It could be an object. Um,
Okay.
so, so what I do is I typically look for portals that are within the property, whether it's in the home, on the property, or on any items in the home. And I just kind of get this sense of just knowing, yep, there's something there. And I don't, when I know something's there, I don't know where it is. I just know that it's there. And so I set my intent to close it wherever it is. So I couldn't say, oh, it's in the bathroom, in the cabinet, under this or that. Doesn't matter to me where it is. What matters to me is that it's there. I sense it and I can close it. Um, but I have indicators that I look for, but on people's persons portals, I don't look for that. But how it comes up is when I work on someone and they keep having a reoccurring issue. So I clear their energy, and then the next day they need it cleared, and they need it cleared, and they need it cleared. Then I talk to them about their environment, and we try to fix the environment. And if I can't see any portals in the environment, then I focus on their energy, and it's like, oh, light bulb, there's something within their energetic field that's acting as this portal. And it's pretty dangerous for the people that have it. And like I said, it's very uncommon, but it is out there.
Okay. Okay. That answers my question. My second question is when you were talking about, when you close the portal, so the energies come through the portal, they're swirling around, doing their thing, and then they come to go come to go back through and it's closed, do they always go in and out through the same portal, or can they go find another portal to go through, or does it have to be that same one?
I think they go back to the same one, and if it's not there, then they're hanging around for a while until they find another opening. They'll find a way where they need to go.
Okay, okay,
But
okay,
it
that
does
makes
create a lot of activity in the home if there was one in the home or on the property. And so the person that had it closed but still has some out here in the world are going to feel a little activity, but it shouldn't last more than, 4 to 6 weeks, I would say.
okay, okay. And as a holistic healthcare practitioner, my brain goes to what kind of negative health um, consequences do you typically hear or see when a person, and I know we're talking about portals, and so maybe I'll just broaden the subject here, with when they have entities around them, in their home, what kind of negative effects does that cause on a health level?
A lot. I feel like most disease is energetic based. And so think about it like this. They block the flow. So our life force, our energy is in a constant flow. Now, if you block it, you're going to have problems. So I use this analogy a lot. So if you heard it before, I'm sorry, but it's like think about this mountain stream that's flowing down the mountainside, and all around it's beautiful green, and the water is crystal clear. You can see the rocks on the bottom. It's just beautiful. And as the river's flowing, the blades of grass on the side act as almost like a filter, it's purifying the water. Now take a log, you got a beaver, knocks a log in the water, lucky beaver, and then you have the flow stops. And then you go to that section of the river where the flow stops going all the way back, and you look at it, the water becomes murky. It becomes disease, filled with parasites and disease ridden, and the foliage of the grass starts to look brown because the water's not flowing. Think about our human body as this flow of energy that's just constantly healing ourselves by our flow in and out, in and out. And then all of a sudden you block it off, you got the issues, and it's not flowing. And when it's not flowing, it creates that stagnant energy equates to disease. That's my opinion. And a lot of the illnesses, the Western medicine, they have a lot of terms for diseases that they don't know what causes it. I got this, that, and that, or and because they can't put their finger on it. Well, it's an energetic issue. We just have to let things flow. And so they're good at labeling things and and prescribing medicines for whatever they label. And a lot of times those medicines, they could be definitely helpful, but a lot of times they can mask what the issue is. And so then the blockage just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it gets worse and worse and worse. And people struggle with that. And they don't know why or how. And to me, it would start from a early energetic issue. Just get things flowing in your body. Now, a lot of times when that blockage has been there so long that it creates that disease, and that disease is hard to get rid of because it's already festered for so many years or whatever. So I think people, if we take a holistic approach and we look at our body as needing to be a constant flow, then we'll be good. And another way for blockages to happen is I want you to go back to our thoughts and our emotions. Now, emotions just need to be constantly going. And I have another analogy. It's a like a surfer analogy. So you know how you have an emotion and it just keeps coming, and you're trying to hold on to that emotion, good, bad, right, wrong, or whatever. You're trying to hold on to it. But I want you to think about it like a surfer. If you surf, you get on the board and you paddle out, and the paddling kills me. I can't even, by the time I get to where I need to go, I'm so worn out, I can't even surf. But you paddle out there and you're watching the waves. And I want you to think of these waves as these emotions that just keep flowing. They don't stop. Just keep waves. There'll be a pause, but you're waiting for the right wave. And then you paddle, 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 and you jump on it and you ride the wave. The wave breaks, and then you paddle back out and you find the next one. Now, apply that to our emotions. We have this emotion from our past that we keep reliving. Well, you've already ridden that wave. The wave's already broke. It's impossible to ride that wave again. Let it go, ride back out, catch the next one. Now, there's going to be a bunch of emotions that those aren't good enough. Those aren't going to serve my purpose of riding this wave. I need the big one or I need the good one. Or, so it's about paying attention to your emotions and not just taking all of them and writing all of them. And then when you have a good emotion and you write it till it breaks, it's no use for you anymore. So why are we trying to hold on to something that's impossible to hold on to? And that creates a blockage in itself. And so I think if you look at your emotions like that, we can create our own blockages. And funny enough, I think you know this and everyone else does. When we hold on to too many emotions, we have stomach issues. It happens in our gut. And then you have people telling us, oh, you got to just let go of your emotions. Like I was saying, when you write it, you kind of got to let it go. It served its purpose. Well, sometimes when you're holding on to an emotion for so long, you cannot let it go because that emotion becomes this outside energy that's holding on to you. So it's like, this is you, this is the emotion. You can't let it go. It's got you. It's got you. So we're looking at it backwards. Don't let it go. Command it to go. Use your authority of who you are. Every one of us has that divine spark in us. We're one with all that is and ever will be. So we have the power to set our intent and say, be gone, or whatever, however you want to say it, but you have that authority and that power within you to do it yourself. But sometimes we're so worn down and we're so weak energetically because of everything we've been through, we become a product of, what's happened to us. So that's the emotion side point. And the thoughts are the same thing. This thoughts create disease as well, and I think there's even been a lot of scientific studies around that, but don't need to get into that. We just want to keep kind of a high level, but thoughts and emotions, they create blockages. We got to just, but one of the biggest things I tell my clients is, especially after I do my work, it's pay attention to your thoughts and your emotions. Don't buy them as your own, because that's where the manipulation starts to happen. And as soon as we start buying them as our own, we become our thoughts and our emotions, and that's guiding us through our life. And our thoughts and our emotions are meant to be, you know, little indicators for us. It doesn't mean that we always have to buy into them or act on them. It's like a little indicator. Okay, I'll take that into consideration. But too much, we're in our head, and our mind think of it as a thought machine. It's supposed to produce thoughts. That's its job, one after the next. That doesn't mean we take every single one of them and run with it. So we have to shut that off anyway. So I hope that answered
Oh,
your question without going off on a tangent in the wrong
no,
direction.
no. I love that because that's actually primarily what I do is I work with unprocessed and stored emotions within the body, causing dis-ease. And so, no, I loved that explanation. That's a right up my alley. I love nerding out on that. So, beautiful, beautiful explanation there. Um, wow, I could just pick your brain all day long, Herman. I just think what you do is fascinating. I love sort of partnering with you and sending people your way, and I always just get such positive feedback on the work that you do with my clients. And then, like I said, my own personal story. That's what I lead with, and I
Mhm.
don't think that this subject is talked about enough. I do find that people are scared to talk about it out of fear, people thinking they're crazy or this isn't real, or just all sorts of things. And so I do find that when you do open this conversation up with people, they're like, yes, oh my gosh, you too. And so it's it's been fascinating to kind of scary on the one hand because again this world was not open to me more than about a year ago, and scary, awful things had to happen for this door to open. But now that, I have this knowledge and I've worked with you, it's all fascinating. So thank you for what you do and creating this ripple effect of this positive high frequency energy. The world needs it right now. I truly believe the world needs it. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for setting up this call and asking the questions. Is there any other questions before we go, or any topics you want to discuss?
Hmm. You know, Yeah, I think I asked them all on my list. I'm definitely a question asker, so I'm sure more will pop into my head later, and maybe we can do a round two. But I won't wear you out too much tonight. My main goal was to really find out about the portals. It again, it's just such a fascinating topic. And so yeah, I think you covered it all. Thank
Oh,
you.
good. Oh, good. It was lovely to see you, and don't hesitate to reach out at any stage. So
Oh,
yeah,
I won't. I reach out quite often to you, so
not
hopefully you won't
not
get
not
tired
not
of
not,
me.
not you don't reach out too much. You're not too much there. It's good. So
Okay, good. Okay,
all
good.
right,
All right,
Lacey. Good to
Hernan.
see you as always.
You too.
All right, see you later.
Bye.